not the leader of a cult. RabbitWithAxe.
Greetings, demons, and welcome to a Fortnite discussion video. And this is not a video I was expecting to make, mostly because I didn't know this was going to happen. So essentially, if you don't already know, the Avatar: The Last Airbender Avatar Elements event has come to Fortnite, and with it comes, well, a total of 4 mythics, one of which was already in the game, those being waterbending, earthbending, airbending, and firebending. Obviously, the various bending types, the magic powers essentially, from the Avatar series, and with that came some pretty, in my opinion, annoying news. So all this is coming from FireMonkey over on X. I will have his Twitter linked in the description below. I'm going to just call it Twitter, I don't care. But yeah, to accommodate the new bending techniques, Olympian powers have been vaulted until the end of Elements. So until the end of the Avatar event, the various other special items and mythics from the season have been vaulted. So this means that the Wings of Icarus have been vaulted, as well as the foot race job boards that relate to them. We also have the Chain of Hades being vaulted, and then, of course, the Thunderbolt of Zeus has been vaulted. And this is, in my opinion, really, really frustrating. This is a season based around the gods, based around these powers, based around these abilities, and they have taken away the various godly abilities. And you know, there's still stuff available. The various standard weapons that are mythic that you get from the bosses are still available. Obviously, all the bending, you know, elemental abilities, those mythics are still in the game. And you obviously have all the mythic coins that you get from the bosses that give you various different abilities. Those are all fine. They're all still in the game, and that's, you know, perfectly good. I'm not complaining about those not being removed. I'm complaining about what has been removed being taken out, especially when we don't have equivalent items. And we've seen it in previous seasons where we've had multiple mythics from various different collabs that basically do very similar things all at once. And yet, they are removing these very different items from the loot pool because of the bending abilities. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, in general, I don't use the Thunderbolt of Zeus. I'm going to get that out of the way. I do not like that mythic, that item, that weapon. It's not something that I have really enjoyed using, and it's not something I run very often. I've got plenty of kills with it. I've, you know, done some pretty fun things with it, but it's not something that I care too much about. However, my current, or, well, former setup for running most matches, if not all, has been a auto shotgun or the other shotgun that fires automatically. I can't remember the name of the one that has 3 shots. It's been one of those, the waterbending, and the Chain of Hades, along with the Wings of Icarus and any med item. I've mostly been using the Banana of the Gods, which fortunately hasn't been vaulted. The mythic banana is still in the game, but that's not really the point. The point is, half of my current setup is now no longer in the loot pool, and it's just really annoying to have to deal with that, because as much as, you know, the loot pool right now is pretty good, I actually quite enjoy most of the weapons, I was enjoying playing how I was. And some people may say it was a little bit cheaty using both the Chain of Hades and the waterbending. Personally, I don't think it was that big of an issue. I'm not accurate enough with waterbending for that to be that effective, and realistically, the big thing about the Chain of Hades is that it's a melee weapon. If you are consistently getting outplayed when you are fully aware of the enemy player with the Chain of Hades, yeah, that might be a you problem. And that is something that I've seen a lot of people talking about, is how the Chain of Hades should be vaulted because it's a bit too powerful. At the end of the day, they had to buff it due to the various, you know, inadequacies of it. In fact, in the most recent 29.20 update, we actually saw a buff to the Chain of Hades. The Chain of Hades melee combos and the pull attack deal more damage. They had to increase it to make it viable. That is how ineffective it had been. And I'm not trying to say it should have been buffed more or anything. I'm not even saying it needed to be buffed in the first place. But saying that it's overpowered and that it deserves to be vaulted is kind of ridiculous, and that is just unfortunately something I've seen a ton of people go over. Fortunately, in general, most people seem to be in agreement that the Wings of Icarus should not be vaulted. It's a traversal item, we don't have too many of those right now. Give or take, we do have the shockwave grenades, but in general, having something like the wings was really, really nice. Most people didn't use it offensively. It was purely to escape from confrontation, to run from a storm, just to get to a different location. It was really, really nice for completing certain challenges and certain quests. I really enjoyed using it, and it's really frustrating that they've removed it, especially when, you know, there's nothing equivalent to it in the current game. Like, there's nothing that has that sort of prolonged flight, but that's beside the point. At the end of the day, Epic have been continually doing really good things and then messing it all up. And a lot of this comes more down to things like UI changes than gameplay changes. I think in general, the last few seasons have been pretty good on gameplay. But Epic don't seem to listen. And this is going to sound really petty, but it annoys me more when the thing that Fortnite seems to actually, you know, care about in any major way always seems to be when it is preventing people from earning cosmetics. And, you know, that sounds really stupid when I'm talking about how the UI has been bad, but we recently had an issue where if you were already level 200 when the bonus styles came out, you weren't able to unlock them. And to remedy this, they gave anybody that was over level 200 when the bonus styles came out a free back bling. It's a recolor, it's called the Poison, and it's just the little, I don't even know what to call it, but it's treesy. It's treesy, but in a different colour. It's a purple treesy. And that's great, you know, that's good for people that have played that much to get level 200. But why is it that, you know, that is something that they will reward people for, or, you know, not even reward, just say sorry for by giving them something, but then they are simultaneously not listening to the various issues with the item shop, with the lock UI, with a lot of the menus in general. The fact that by default you start on the actual discover page rather than the lobby screen is really frustrating to me, and I don't know if that's a glitch or if that's intentional, because I've noticed it a ton and it's really, really annoying me. But yeah, there's so many little things like that that just make the experience of playing Fortnite worse. And that doesn't even, you know, get me started on my various issues with things like Save the World and Creative's current state, and, you know, the fact that they keep changing how XP in Lego Fortnite works, and changing how Rocket Racing and Festival give you rewards. But that's all beside the point. This is a lot of different rants that I could get into, but at the end of the day, my main concern is that they keep adding really nice things, like the new mythics, like the new, you know, special items, and then they just decide they're going to remove them during the season. And they are saying that they're going to bring them back after Elements finishes, but, you know, is that really good enough? Like, I don't know, for me, it just kind of annoys me that that's how they've done it, especially when, you know, Elements doesn't finish until May 3rd. Right now, as we're recording this, we're on April 13th. Like, that is so long to go without the main items of the season. We're talking 3 full weeks of no god weapons. I can't help but just think that they've made a major mistake with it all. And I don't know how else to kind of explain it. It really frustrates me. This is a game that, you know, prides itself on having variety and varying the content, and I appreciate that. But why even bother introducing these elements if you're just going to remove them or temporarily disable them during the season that they're from? It's kind of ridiculous to me. And as if all this wasn't enough, one of the bending elements, that being earthbending, has been vaulted due to an issue. So they have vaulted all these perfectly working mythics and special items to bring in water, earth, fire, and airbending, just for one of them to have an issue where they've had to immediately vault it. This is hours after, and I am recording this a little bit after the fact just because I hadn't seen this yet. But yeah, earthbending has been vaulted, which basically means we're down one of the mythics that replaced the other items. And, you know, I don't think I have to point this out, but adding 4 mythics, or 3 because we already had the waterbending, shouldn't mean the removal of the non-mythic items. The Chain of Hades and the Wings of Icarus are just legendaries. They're not even legendary, they're epic. They're epic items that cannot be upgraded, cannot be found in higher rarities. The only thing, if they were going to remove anything that they should have, would be the Thunderbolt of Zeus. It's the only item that was a mythic and was potentially taking up a slot that the various bending abilities could then fill. I really just don't understand why. It doesn't make sense to me. I really wish they'd actually put out a proper explanation of why this was, because at the end of the day, we've had very bloated loot pools in the past, and personally, I've never seen that as an issue. But I do understand that that is something that Epic probably doesn't want to repeat. I still don't understand why that then means removing these really nice items. Just take out a different thing. They keep changing out what weapons are in the loot pool regardless. Just take out, you know, you've just added the hand cannon, take out the regular pistol. You've just upgraded one of the snipers, take the other sniper or the DMR or something. Take different weapons out of the loot pool. I know that's not a perfect fix. I personally think they should have just added the bending abilities and left everything else alone. But it really annoys me. And going back to the idea around how, you know, the Wings of Icarus are mobility, technically we do have a different mobility item. Airbending, the official description of that is harness the air around you to enhance your mobility, use the air wheel technique to traverse great distance, or air the jump technique to launch yourself and nearby players into the air. So, you know, in a way, it kind of is similar, but it functions differently. With the wings, you could travel at different speeds, you could dodge, you could even attack with it, and, you know, at the end of the day, that gives you so many more opportunities to use the item in creative ways. Airbending, as it currently is, especially if you're playing solo like I usually am, is not that useful. Firebending and waterbending are pretty good. Earthbending I haven't actually had a chance to use, and obviously it's vaulted now. But it's just, there's so much wrong here. I wish that they hadn't removed the Chain of Hades especially, but the wings make no sense. I want to use the Chain of Hades more. The wings I can live without, but the fact they removed them when there is nothing properly equivalent to them left in the game, I don't know, it's just kind of annoying. And I think that's where I have to leave it. So that is really everything I have to say. I know this is very ranty, very rambly, and, you know, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that this is, you know, today's upload rather than what it was supposed to be, which is supposed to be the Get High event over on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. That video is still coming out. It just will be coming out later. And I don't know, this just really annoyed me because it's changing the game for the worse, and Epic, despite, you know, everything that they've done right recently, keep doing this, where they keep just making things worse. I don't know, I'm not going to get back into it, but yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video for whatever reason, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new around here, and ring a bell so you never miss an upload. I promise this is not my usual content. I'm usually a lot happier with the state of things, or if I'm not happy, I'm at least, you know, having fun with it. This is very much something that I'm just not very happy with right now. But yeah, in any case, it's coming from me. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!
Look at the screen, you'll be fine. Culture's a disease, but world's divine. I just wanna take